Local law enforcement holding a national night out event in East Springfield tonight, giving the community another chance to come together before the end of summer. Western Mass News reporter Olivia Hickey joins us in studio tonight with more on that. Olivia?
Chris, while tonight was all about celebrating community, officials say having officers and neighbors united is essential when it comes to serving the community.
We need to get to know every part of the city. I want the office to know everyone from the east side to the north side.
For the past few weeks, Springfield police officers have done this through national night out events held throughout the city, an initiative to bring local law enforcement and residents together for a night of fun, food, and resources. Akers explains interactions like this help officers serve their communities.
It's easier for them to approach us and talk to us, and that's what we want.
Meantime, the department continues to crack down on issues residents in the city care about. On Friday, police seized 3 abandoned quads. Department spokesperson Ryan Walsh explains enforcement details focused on dirt bikes and other off-highway vehicles are wrapping up for the season, and their current efforts have led to a drastic decline in illegal riders.
The number of dirt bike complaints have gone incredibly down in the last 5 years, and that's a testament to our officers who are consistently out there on these public safety details.
And reminding people of the importance of keeping their vehicles safe with steering wheel locking devices, as Hyundai and Kia owners continue to run into issues with theft.
There was 1 Hyundai stolen this week. We had 3 cars stolen this weekend, which is extremely low in the city.
We spoke with neighbors like Joanne Benson. She says she values the presence of law enforcement in her community.
I care about their health. I care about the health of the community. I care about what their job is, and I care about how they're able to function.
But emphasizes everyone should be accountable for their neighbors and each other.
You know your neighbors, and so then you show that you're aware, you're looking at the neighborhood, you're out walking the neighborhood, you feel safe walking in the neighborhood.
Superintendent Akers tells Western Mass News the department has held nearly a dozen national night out events this summer. Tonight was the last one for the season. Reporting in studio, Olivia Hickey, Western Mass News.